Morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. This Wednesday night and Thursday is Yud-Tes Kislev. That's the 19th day of the month of Kislev, and it's a very significant day because it's considered to be the Rosh Hashanah, the new year for Chasidism, which means that it's the day that the Alter Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, who brought Chabad to the world, was liberated from prison in Petersburg on that day, and it's considered to be the beginning of the revelation of Chabad Chasidism on a large scale, because until that time, the Rebbe was holding it in a little bit, but after that, he just let it all out as far as teaching as much as he could of what Chabad Chasidism brought to the world and the different perspective it brought. And I want to just go into it a little bit because in preparation for Wednesday night and Thursday, we all need to perhaps know a little bit more or take a little bit of a deeper look at what Chabad Chasidism accomplished. In a certain degree, the title that I put to today's talk about how the Alter Rebbe turned Judaism upside down is a very interesting approach. First of all, as you can imagine, most world religions will have deal. Basically look at God as God. He's up there. He's spiritual. We're down here. We're physical. So we need to try to get beyond the physical in order to become more physical, more spiritual. That's how we get closer to God. Judaism gives us many, many ways, though, that we do things actually in this world, that we're involved in the world, that we're sanctifying the world, making the world a holier place. So therefore, to a certain degree, we have up on others because we know God's will. And since we know God's will, we have better ways to be able to get higher than the physical and to become more spiritual because we have specific instructions with 613 mitzvahs. The Alter Rebbe came along and said, wait a second, this is a whole different approach. You know, the God didn't just give us the mitzvahs in order to be able to enable us to just overcome this handicap that we happen to be found in the physical world. To the contrary, he gave us these mitzvahs because he had a kavanah. He had an intent, a plan, a will, how we are meant to be in this physical world in order not just to sanctify it and to make it holy, but to transform it and bring godliness into it. In other words, the goal is not just leaving the physical and going up to become more spiritual, or using the physical just as a means of being able to become more close to God, but to the contrary. That God put us in this physical world to transform the physical, and that's really where the action is. That's where God wants us to be. That's where God's essence is found. That's where his will is found, here in the physical world. So to a certain degree, what the Alter Rebbe did was to really turn Judaism upside down. Instead of talking about leaving earth to get closer to heaven, he talked about bringing heaven down to earth. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow as well, because it's chock full of all types of different ideas, how we approach our Judaism, how we approach our lives, how we approach ourselves, how we approach our families, and how Judaism really wants us to live this life to the fullest as an agent of God, bringing godliness into this world. Enjoy.